Jeep just turned an Icon electric 650 horsepower true trail rated capability and designed to go places gas Jeeps only dreamed of. But can it really handle the wild while still being a practical daily driver? Today we break down the Recon EV, the numbers that matter, the tech under the skin, and the real trade-offs between raw off-road ability and everyday range. I'll show you what Jeep officially claims, how those specs translate to real trails and long trips, and the single smart decision that makes the Recon work for most buyers. Stick around and you'll know when the Recon is a perfect fit and when it's probably more than you need. Hello, I'm Shayan, an engineer specialized in electric vehicle development. Jeep's new Recon brings a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup with a claimed 650 horsepower and about 620 pound-feet of torque. That's supercar numbers shoved into an off-road. The company pairs that with roughly a 100 kilowatt-hour battery and an estimated real-world range in the 230 to 250 miles band, depending on the trim and tires. The Recon should sprint to 60 in the mild 3-second range, while wearing 33-inch all-terrain rubber. These are the figures Jeep uses to advertise the Recon's performance and capabilities. But numbers on a spec sheet don't tell the whole story. The Recon is heavy, and that weight plus aggressive off-road tires and a boxy shape mean the real highway range will be lower than an aerodynamic crossover with the same battery. Jeep openly positions the Recon as an adventure vehicle first, not a long-distance efficiency champion. Underneath, the Recon rides on Stellantis' Stello large platform with heavy steel shielding under the pack, removable doors, and a rocket suspension geometry. Jeep includes electronically locking differentials, select train traction modes, and a special Moab trim that adds higher torque turning and extra underbody protections. The Recon's ground clearance, approach, and departure angles and 33-inch tires are chosen to make real rock and sand driving possible. These camping and trail features are not just marketing, they're engineered into the chassis and drivetrain. But those very off-road choices create trade-offs on the road. Big tires and heavy armor increases rolling resistance and aerodynamic drag. Jeep's own numbers show a coefficient of drag that's not friendly for highway economy. And the result is a shorter range figure compared with slicker EVs with the same battery capacity. If your life is 90% city and highway, the Recon's off-road hardware will feel like paying for performance you rarely use. Jeep fits the Recon with a 100.5 kWh battery in many trims and claims that DC fast charging can bring the pack from 20 to 80% in under 30 minutes on a suitably powerful charger. Jeep also equipped the Recon with a robust thermal shielding and active thermal management turned for high-load off-road use, so the pack is less likely to throttle during repeated climbs or recovery pulls. That means when you're on a trail and need torque repeatedly, the battery will hold up better than a road-tuned pack. But the pack's 400-volt architecture and mid-pack thermal systems mean the Recon won't charge as fast as some of the newest 800-volt EVs in optimal conditions. In the real world, you'll get good charging speed at many public DC fast stations. But the fastest chargers and the most dramatic time saving belong to cars built on the higher voltage platforms. In short, the Recon is fast to charge for its class, but not a headline-grabbing hypercharger. On the trail, the Recon leverages torque vectoring, locking drift, and selectable drive modes to manage grip and throttle responses. Jeep says approach angles, breakover, and departure numbers are tuned for overlanding. And the Moab trim adds the specialized rock mode, e-locker programming, and skid plates. Those systems let drivers crawl, angle, and recover in many EVs simply weren't designed for. When the terrain gets ugly, the Recon's heavy-duty underbody and electronically controlled motor let it push through with confidence. But remember, electric motors provide instant torque, which is great for low-speed crawling. But the extra weight means momentum plays differently on loose surfaces. An electric off-roader needs methodical throttle control to use its torque without digging into sand grounds or over-spinning tires. Jeep's drive modes help, but driver technique still matters. The electrified torque is a tool, And like any powerful tool, it can make a mistake worse if used without care. Jeep slots the Recon as an outdoor machine that's also streetable. If you daily drive and want weekend adventures, the Recon's numbers are reasonable. Expect 230 to 250 miles in mixed driving, less with heavy off-road use or towing. Jeep claims a towing capability and rugged mounting points for accessories like roof racks and winches, so you can run a small trailer or haul gear for weekends away. The Recon is built to be a do-it-all rig for active owners. But towing or heavy rooftop cargo will shrink the range quickly. Aerodynamic penalties, additional mass, and the need for more frequent high power draws on the battery will force you to plan more charging stops on the long trips. If your primary need is maximum range and efficiency, a sleeker EV with a similar battery will beat the Recon every day of the week. Here's the real question. Do you want a purpose-built electric off-roader that can conquer trails? Or do you want the longest possible range and fastest charging for highway runs? The Recon offers off-road durability and authentic Jeep features, but those capabilities cost you efficiency and some charging speed compared with the most optimized highway EVs. Put simply, you buy the Recon for capability, but you pay the price when you prioritize range. The adoption and ecosystem challenge. Jeep is launching the Recon into a market where fast charging infrastructure is improving, but still inconsistent, and where EV buyers expect both performance and practical range. For many buyers, the Recon's mix of capability and range will be perfect, but for others, the need to adapt driving patterns and charging plans is a real challenge. Real world scenarios: how to think about trips. If you camp within a 100-mile radius of home, the Recon's battery and overnight level 2 charging will probably be perfect. You top up each night you head out, and you use the Recon's torque and clearance to get off the beaten path. If you plan frequent cross-country runs with minimal stops, the Recon will demand more planning. Choose chargers strategically and allow for a slightly longer total travel time than a long-range highway EV. But there's a technical angle that helps. Preconditioning the battery for DC stops, using eco modes while cruising between tailheads, and leveraging regenerative braking on descent can stretch the real-world miles. Jeep includes intelligent Trails apps and driver assist with help with route planning and locating chargers. So the ownership ecosystem supports smart use. Use the software and you can make the Recon behave more like a long trip partner. Cost, trim choices, and who this is for. Trim levels vary from base trails to high-end, and the price will scale accordingly. Expect starting prices in the mid-60,000s and well into the 80,000 range for fully optioned off-road beasts. If you want the maximum off-road kit, be prepared to pay for the specialized hardware, but know you're buying capability rather than pure range. For buyers who want a daily driver that doubles as a weekend beast, the Recon is a compelling trade. But if your life is mostly commuting and highway travel and you rarely leave paved roads, you might be better served by an EV that prioritizes aero efficiency and a lighter curb weight. The Recon is a focused machine that rewards owners who actually use its off-road capabilities. The deciding insight. Here's the practical rule that ties it all together. Buy capability only if you will use it. The Recon gives you authentic Jeep Trail excellence and modern EV tools. But the hardware that makes it unstoppable off-road reduces range and raises energy use on the highway. If your weekends are full of dirt, rocks, and remote climbs, the Recon's engineering choices are worth every mile of a reduced highway range. If your weekends are Netflix and groceries, look for a more range-optimized EV. Final takeaways. The 2025-2026 Jeep Recon EV is a genuine electric off-roader with a real trail technology, 650 horsepower, and purpose-built protections to handle serious terrains. It's fast, heavy, and capable, and it asks you to trade it a bit of range and charging speed for the freedom to go farther off the map. Use the Recon software plan charger for the long trips, precondition the battery before fast charges, and you'll get the best of both worlds. Like this breakdown? If you want to learn more about the battery management system inside the electric vehicles, how it operates, how it calculates state of charge, state of health, and different characteristics of the electric vehicles, you can click on the link in the description. Thank you.